Hello everyone, I'm Mariah, and so I'm doing some how I do things videos. They're not going to be particularly informative, but I will say that I start with a script that looks like this. It's just a block of text with absolutely no structure, but we were taught how to do that in my comic book school. It's kind of the Marvel way of doing things. The writers for Marvel used to give the artists just chunks of text, and it was up to the artists to decide which actions would go in each panel. And there was actually no dialogue, so I'm providing a little bit more for my future self, my artist self, whenever I write these things. But then the artists, when they were done drawing the action scenes, they had left spaces around for the word balloons to go, and then they would hand it back to the writers, like Stan Lee or somebody, and he would be like, okay, so it looks like Spider-Man should be saying X, Y, and Z here. So he would add dialogue kind of after the fact. For me, of course, I have dialogue throughout, but it's not obvious who's talking all the time. Hack is Akiyuki speaking, indicated by Akiyuki's falling over. One arm almost able to wrap over his stomach, but not really, and he hasn't noticed he's going down. He continues, the sarcophagi? I woke up in the bigger one, on the platform, but usually they're nested from big to small, like 3 or 4 deep. Her wide eyes, we're talking about Caroline, there are no other females in the room, so because she can't believe she's about to catch him. She's caught him. Just his upper half, and he's slumped, head tilting back and everything. If he could see, he'd be looking up at her like a dainty princess after a dashing, daring save. He continues, I was alone. Couldn't lift the lid to get out. Different angle on the same thing, he continues. But I wasn't alone, after all. She's gawking. Zoom out on her, spread eagle stance, ridiculously strong despite the situation, holding him in an awkward hug, almost like she's about to pick up his knees bridal style. Hold up, hang on, kid, are you about to pass out? His face buried deep in her chest, cheek rested on her shoulder like a sleeping child. He seems totally calm. Oh, maybe. Sorry. The back of his head, her expression of shock. Didn't have the energy for this. And that was Akiyuki, by the way. Her view of the side of his face. Can you put me in a body of water? That was Akiyuki again. Caroline looks around, eyes wide, panicking. What? No, wait. Who the hell are you? Why are you alive? What are your intentions? What's your goddamn name? So I separated those 2 quotation segments, but they're both Caroline. It just means that there's 2 different balloons that I'll be using for all those words. She kneels down, reaching beneath his knees to lift him bridal style, and he's totally limp. Looking like the Pietà, he answers, I'm Akiyuki, a healer. Why does that matter? She's going cold again, even as he sighs. That's him sighing. She growls, all right, Akiyuki, well, I'm Caroline Coolidge, and if you prove dangerous, I'll be the one to kill you. He smirks, sure, try. If I find out why I'm here now, missing my family so much it hurts, I'll be the single most dangerous person you've met today. So yeah, after I've read the script thoroughly, the first thing I do actually is put the text in on the pages. Like, you can see the text in little clusters all around the 2 pages here. Them get turned into word balloons, and mostly just word balloons for these 2 pages, but sometimes they become thought rectangles. You know, the purple ones that we see that Caroline thinks in, those are thought rectangles. And then I start doing these figure drawings. I'm not really worried about the background in this case because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter very much right now what's behind them, because we've already emphasized the sarcophagus on the last 2 pages, so we know what it looks like. We don't really need to see it again, but we might as well show it from different angles, maybe get some of the artwork we didn't see before. But it's not as important as showing their faces and their expressions. My computer keeps overheating while I'm talking, and I can't figure out how to get it to accept the microphone on my headphones. So the only microphone I have is right inside the laptop that keeps humming because it's overheating. Like maybe the best thing is to pause it every time it starts to overheat and then come back later. It lasts for like 2 minutes. Sheesh.
Anyway, we'll see how this works. So, as you can see, I'm moving my figures around the page, trying to anticipate where I should put my panel borders. You want to always think about with your panel borders that the people who are going to read your comic read from left to right usually, and they're going to read from the top to the bottom. So I have my pages so close together because if I were going to print this you would see the 2 pages at the same time once you opened the book. And I want to make sure that my panel borders on the left page don't align with the panel borders on the right page, because I want you to read downward. I want you to see the whole left page before you start looking at the first panel on the right page. So I want to drag your eye down kind of with that first panel, even though it's a really long horizontal panel. Look, I'm making my little word balloons. I kind of have left the word balloon formation type thing, like making the exterior border of them for the last minute here, because sometimes I realize I need to split my text boxes more, like make it like almost, just put a few words in a one balloon and then link it to another small balloon with a few more words, as opposed to having a huge chunk of words. Also, it has to do with balloon shape. Like if the balloon's not going to fit very well as like a perfect circle, like if I need it to be shorter and wider, then I can do that. At this point, now that I have the figure drawings in place, I can kind of anticipate more. I can see where things need to move and how much space I'm actually working with. So yeah. One thing you'll see me do with the figure drawings is I'm constantly thinking about how big their heads are, how tall they are. That's kind of important. Caroline is about 5'1", 5'2", because I am in between 5'1" and 5'2", and short girl power. It's kind of important, I think, for her to come across as meek on your first glance. So anyway, I keep her kind of short. I try to keep her consistent, so that she looks the same in every panel for the most part. And then for Akiyuki, he's, I stopped worrying about how tall he is specifically. I think he's like 6'2" or 6, he's probably 6'2", but I worried more about his head height. He's 8 heads tall, and she's 6 heads tall. So normally she'd line up if they were standing next to each other and he was in full flesh form.
So, I got cut off. I'm back now. On the third microphone of the evening. So anyway, you can see me over there like measuring his head to make sure that it's the same size as her head. And that's to make sure that they look like they're in the same universe, as opposed to if one person's head is way bigger than the other, then they're not human. Like, human head shapes vary slightly. Anyway, about the height. So if he was standing up and he was fully fleshed out, as opposed to being like a slightly shorter mummy version of himself, then she would come up to about his armpit, which I had a lady tell me that was weird, that sort of height difference doesn't exist in real life. I gotta tell you, as somebody who's had tall friends, that's not abnormal. This, I'm not even as short as they get, but 6'2" is not nearly as tall as a person is capable of getting, so you know what? Get over it. Anyway, what you're seeing now is my SketchUp model. So I have placed figures that are approximately right for their heights in here, and you can see me moving around trying to get the best angle for each of my panels, getting that cool background stuff in. My comic is probably gonna be, one that is known for never not having backgrounds. So it's like a thing. I guess I have to just keep it up now. I can't stop. So, you see that panel that's just Caroline, like, about to run up and grab him, and how there's no background? Watch me go back in a minute and put in a background, because I can't just not have one. It's not the way that things work here. All the work. Okay, also too, I think I was showing off because I was recording myself, so I was like, let's make this as difficult as I can. Anyway, the next 2 pages after these 2 are gonna have to be easier because these pages got me behind. But I don't think I worked much harder than usual. Look at me putting the painting in. So I had explained that to my $5 patrons that the paintings, I actually did them well before these pages were drawn, and I just copied and pasted them in. I had wanted to redo them because I think I originally altered them from so they're altered versions of much older artwork. The alterations were about a year ago. Like, I added color and kind of smoothed the lines over. But I didn't do a great job, so I was disappointed that I didn't have time to fix them. But you know what? They look fine. Just because I didn't redo them doesn't mean I'm cheating, because it's not like I didn't do them twice already. The first time I did them was in college, and they were just ink versions. It was just, black and white. And then when I redid them, I had to redo the line art too, because it was too digitized, too kind of pixely. So I had to reline them, and then I had to color them and stick them in there. Ooh, look at that cool Dutch angle. You can see the SketchUp model is It's not tilted, right? Well, to me I can tell it's not tilted, but when I went and stuck it in there just now in that panel, the fourth panel on this page we're looking at, I tilted it so the horizon line is at a slant. That's a Dutch angle. It adds to the drama. It also helps me to get more of the sarcophagus in and fill the panel more, but mostly I guess it's for drama, because I could have cut the sarcophagus off at the head. It would have been fine. Oh gosh, look, we're done! Alright, so this is video 1 of 3, and so I'll see y'all next time. Maybe I'll only use one mic next time. Bye!